What's going on, everybody? Whoa, let me use this echo cancellation 1 second. Interesting. I got an echo here. Does everyone have an echo with me? I just need to know, test, test. Do you guys have an echo? All right, everybody. What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Cancun Trading and Investing. I am working from a laptop today. No echo. Yes, no echo. I'm working from a laptop today. We're out over. Let me see if I could just clean that up a little bit. See, I can't get going until everyone is on the same page over here. Just give me 1 second over here, then we'll get going. Boom, 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 boom. We are working from remote office over here. I want everything to be smooth. That includes the echo. So hold on 1 second. I can't change it. All right, we're gonna have to go with this morning. Tomorrow I could use Zoom if need be. That's not a problem at all. I apologize for the echo. I apologize for the whole setup. Internet here is not the fastest. I'm going to be working a little handicap, but nevertheless, we're going to get into some strong analysts over here. Love Greg's little comment over there that it's stand aside Monday. No, not echo, but sounds different. Well, it is what it is, and we're going to work through it. I always want to be working with the best, but it is what it is. All right, everyone, let's get going over here. Let's take a look at the markets. Glad to see everyone. Glad to have everyone in here. I am working remote. The internet is spotty and not the best. I feel a handicap on my laptop, but the resolution is good, so that's something to good. A reverb, yeah. All right, well, I'll try to work that out elsewhere. Monday, Asia, by the way, moving aside Monday. All right, let's get going over here. I'm going to drop the comments and I'm going to start going into the charts and see what we got, what we could do. I did like Greg's comment a lot. Stand aside Monday. The markets have already moved, right? Which means that you don't chase after momentum. We just wait, we stalk, we set everything up for the next possible entries. If you saw the video over the weekend on the Nasdaq, I talked about what I possibly missed. What would have constituted a good entry had I been a little bit more on my game, right? And it was a good thing to review. Obviously, it's not about getting every trade. It's about managing the ones you do get, and it's about always looking to improve your overall performance. All right, the bulls are running this morning, but you can see we'll start here on the I'll start on the S&P to keep everything just as we do. All right, so Nasdaq right now, right? It's humming along, almost up 2% pre-market. You could see that it's taking out, is trading above the 33.39, which is a very, very, very important level over here. It's taking out that resistance. We need to close above it. Watch what happens if the Nasdaq is able to extend this even a little bit further. Last week we saw a lot. We saw as New York entered, the indices were coming into resistance. They wound up being sold off. Let's see if that happens today. Let's just watch. There's nothing more here on the S&P that we're looking at than to see whether or not this level holds over by the close of today. 33.39, it's a big one. 33.40, whatever you want to call it. It was big support on the way up. Right now, we've blown through it this morning. Let's see if we're able to maintain above it. If we do, we'll be looking for a retest of that level. By the way, if we don't close above it, then we're just watching this support over here. Only right now we're looking at buy side, sell sides, or both, right? We've taken back the whole trend line over here. If we close above the 33.39, that's a very bullish signal. And then we got the prime trend line right above us. Once we clear above that, that's going to start looking a whole lot better. But if you also noticed, I pointed out this wedge pattern over here, right? And we've broken out of it. That's a bullish sign that we cannot discount over there. It's a very bullish sign. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the Dow and see what they're doing. But over here, am I inclined to short this over here, or rejection over there? No, I'm not thinking of it. I'd rather stand aside. Let's see what happens later this afternoon. Nasdaq right now, it has broken out of the wedge. It looks like it's taken over the 33.39. Right now, just sit back, wait and watch, pick the entry. All right. If we get this bullish breakout over here out of this wedge, what normally happens, we do usually get, I would say 95% of the time, we're going to get a retest. And if it's a bull signal, a resumption up, that's what we'll be waiting for. Nasdaq, again, I'm sorry about disabled for recurring output. I don't even get it. I'm sorry about the whole situation with the echo mic. I think, but whatever. Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know about that comment over there. Appreciate that. Should we leave yours up now? No, I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know. Is that a bull trap? That doesn't look anything like a bull trap, by the way. All right, let's Anthony. It doesn't look anything like a bull trap whatsoever. By the way, if we do get, they are looking on the Nasdaq right now. I'm gonna come back to the S&P. Sounds good. Thanks for that. I can't hear an echo. The sound is different. Is that a bull trap? There's nothing giving any type of inclination or sense that this is a bull trap. Now, whether or not this holds is another thing, but it does not look like a bull trap whatsoever. Yeah. All right, Andre. Appreciate that. Man, I apologize for that, Andre. Okay, with you. The Nasdaq over here. You know what it is? My analysis is very important to me. It's a very important part of my whole career. And if I don't feel like I'm top of my game, I like to be working with smoothness. If everyone else is looking here and they're looking for some clarity, I want to be able to make sure and offer that. But we'll go with what we have. All right. I'm sure apologize for apology. I'm sure by tomorrow we'll be fine. All right. And I don't feel that way right now. Let me try and fix that a little bit. All right. So NASDAQ, let's take a look over here what we got. We're still in this channel over here. I'm going to highlight this only because once we get above that, if we get above that, and that's resistance right here this morning, that's something to watch. I talked about the indices last week during early morning New York before the London close, a bunch of times running into resistance and that being the high of the session. Watch out for that, right? If we clear above this, by the way, this channel here on the Nasdaq, at that point, that's uber bullish. First of all, we've been talking about that all last week, even as we traded down over here. Not only that, and then I will, stand corrected. That was absolutely a huge bear trap that I had called over there, and then walked back after we closed down outside of that channel. And then the next day we bounced back into it. Watch this resistance over here, the upper end of the channel, breaking above it. This will really set off a bullish tone. Now, what's going on over here? We're in the last week of September, right? This week is actually historically pretty bullish. That's some headwinds on us. But we have the elections coming up, and the elections are coming up really soon now, 5 weeks. Normally, the October of an election year is not seasonality the best month at all. The last week before the elections, things start to turn around. Now, keep that in mind. Don't trade off of that. We're going to follow what happens on price alone, okay? What else is going on the Nasdaq aside from this channel over here, right? We know that if we break above it, that sets off a very bullish tone, something definitely that we want to participate in. What else could happen over here? We have this prime trend line over here, right? Is it possible this is resistance here today, right? Back up into it, right? What happens if you back up into that and it holds a resumption off of that into the resistance? Yeah, I think that's a trade that I would like to take. If we get any type of retest of the prime trend line and it holds a resumption off, even though you have this channel resistance over here, I would definitely be looking at that. We'll take a look at that as it comes. Again, whether it's the S&P, whether it's the Nasdaq here, Greg's comment stands. Stand aside and watch right now. Don't chase after these moves. You can see the Dow right here. A couple of things. I could see it's coming right into the resistance here this morning. All right. Obviously, a break and close above is going to set all three indices off here on a very bullish tone. But right now, all three of them are also coming towards resistance. All right. That's why there's no chasing. That's why there's no chasing at all. Do I see a head and shoulders on the Dow? Again, the one thing I want to say, we spoke about it last week a couple of times. When it comes to head and shoulders, the only time that you should be looking for, recognizing, and trading a head and shoulders is on the break of a neckline. A lot of people look for the right shoulder forming. A lot of people get in as the right shoulder appears to be forming, not on the break of the neckline, and that usually ends in disaster. The entry for a head and shoulders is the break of a neckline. All right, so there's no point in pointing out a head and shoulders or possible head and shoulders until you get the break of the neckline. The reason I say that is because you need confirmation always for a trade. For the head and shoulders is the break of the neckline by trying to a lot of people get caught up in trying to see them. Do I see a head and shoulders here? Let me look on the daily time frame. If this was a head and shoulders here, and that's a left shoulder, and that's a head, and that's a right shoulder, we could put in a neckline somewhere like this. All right. I don't see it though, personally, because if that's a left shoulder, and that's a head, and that's a right shoulder, now we're rising up. I'm more focused on this channel over here and the resistance we're in. This is a lot cleaner. It's a lot easier to trade. All right. Focus in over here. Now, by the way, this over here, this support over here at 26,479, it's the same thing. If you get that break of the neckline, you're just getting the break of the support. So we'll just focus in on what's in front of us. Nevertheless, wanted to check it out. I want to make sure that I'm seeing everything going on always, right? I want to, especially right now, the markets are very, 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 very jumpy over here. Is Jordan sunburned? I'll post a photo on the YouTube channel later for sure. The kids are sunburned. Okay, over here, what are we looking at? Again, all three indices are on the verge of really breaking out bullish, but all three are coming into light resistance. So it could be a question of whether or not we close above this on the Dow today. This is all important. Some people are like, why do you focus on the Dow? Because when you have all three indices trading in the same direction and you get that type of confirmation, the move, whether it's up or down, is tends to have more follow through and power. All right, so watching over here on the Dow, by the way, we're seeing if it's able to get above this resistance, close below it or below it, and at the same time, this is not a pretty channel line, but it's a pretty good one. I'm going to leave it exactly as it is, exactly as it is, and we'll be watching over there for a couple of things to see if we break out above and that holds. We'll come back to the Dow later. We'll come back to the Dow later. Let's take a look at the DXY right now. Yeah, gold and silver, we'll take a look at them right now, but the dollar is trading off a little bit. We're at the dollar right now. We're watching the 94 level over here. That's support at 94, okay? You're expecting the dollar is going to find some support over here and resume off of it. Will that put pressures on the indices? I'm not sure. Will it put pressure on gold and silver? Could be. That looks more probable. Would it put pressure on Bitcoin? Bitcoin's been holding up pretty tough, so I'm not sure about that. Nevertheless, if we're getting a retest right now, and by the way, last week, if you remember on Friday, as we were trading above the last swing high, we were trading over here, and it said during the Friday morning live stream, it would be quite normal for us to get another pullback and retest of that 94. That's happening right now. So nothing here is unexpected. Nothing here is out of the norm. This is what we were already planning for. Now, if that fails, if the 94 fails, I'm going to extend this trend line over here. All right. Someone on Twitter pointed out a trending slope line over here. It's I think the latest liked tweet on Twitter on my account over here, and they pointed out a trend line into there. Whoever it is, just want to give a shout out over there. I'm not focused in on it because I'm focused in on the big area over here at 95.20, which has horizontal resistance. It has this trend line resistance, and it has this other Brad trend line right over here, which is a big one that I don't need to make big until we get to it, just to point it out. That's the area that I'm focused in on over there. Nevertheless, if we lose 94, we have this trend line right under it, right? These are pretty much in the same area. You get a spike down below there. That's just noise. It's not the 94 as the exact support. It's that area though, right? So watch what happens into this area over here. If we lose this trend line over here, right? The confirmation for me is going to be this little swing low right there. The support at 93.55. If we trade below there, that'll be a failed breakout on that counter trend move. Right now, expecting that 94 to hold on a resumption off of it. Yeah, it sounds like I'm in a bathroom too. Yeah, it sounds like to me I'm in the bathroom. I hear echo, echo, echo. I'm using instead of a mic, I'm using just headphones connected to the output, and before that, it's not letting me use echo cancellation. Tomorrow, I'll live stream on Zoom, which will have a big Zoom logo on the bottom right, but it'll just give us a little bit different. No, we don't short if 95 is. Oh, do we short up here if 95 is rejected? Yeah, that's a trade you could take into that strong resistance if you get the resumption out over there, for sure. And if we break above there, by the way, just so everyone's is on the same page, then we're looking over here. 96.40 is really big resistance. All in that area over here, I'll bring it up between 96 and 96.40. We're not there right now. Let's focus on exactly where we are, and we'll just keep going like that. All right. Let's go. Let's take a look at gold. Let's take a look at silver. We'll get into Bitcoin, and then we'll get into FX over here. So gold, if I step back, right, everyone sees what's happening is that we've broken down and that we are coming up for the retest. We're still below very important resistance at 1880. Okay, not only that, we still have the trend line right above that that's coming in at 18, let's call it 1888. And then you have the really strong and big resistance at 1900. So gold right here has a lot of work to do before it could be technically bullish once again. Now, I don't need to get into it this week. We got into it last week. I even did a Twitter post. I think that gold is definitely in a bull market here. Fundamentally, the technicals, however, are where you make the money. And right now, there's no indication that you should be looking to buy. Before you need to look to buy, you need to have this technical damage that was done repaired. And we still got 1, 2, 3 big levels ahead of us before that happens. It's easier buying things that have a bullish nature, a bullish structure, when you have things working for you, instead of when everything is going against you to buy and get into a hope situation. There's nothing here yet saying that gold is it's below really big resistance so far, the breakdown. So just stand aside right now. Silver. Let's check it out over here. Silver, same. By the way, this held over here, this lower trend line that someone on their live stream on Thursday asked that we add that in. We cloned this line, added this win. This wound up holding on the daily. This is also now support over here. Let me go ahead and change that over. This is support over here, right? All right, and we're into resistance right now this morning. Silver, in order to regain its bullishness, we'll call it, needs 2450, the horizontal resistance up here. It's not only that, it's that bigger trend line over here. The breakdown occurred below it. It's got to regain that in order to be looking good. I assume there's a good chance of getting sold off at either this resistance here or this one above, and that's assuming that the DXY holds 94, right? If the DXY holds 94, both of those things will happen. If this was a failed breakout here on the DXY and we start trading down, then obviously the precious metals will have a chance to regain their bullish structure. All right. Let's take a look over. By the way, let's drop down all the way. Let's look at copper. Ooh, copper, palladium, and platinum all leading the way today. Let's check them out and see what's going on over here. I can't get that down. I'll just stick with whatever I got then. But Ela, I'm not shorting any of the metals whatsoever. I'm not shorting any of the metals whatsoever. And it's because, again, I believe that fundamentally they're in a bull market. There's no way I would look to short them, but it means stand aside until it's time to get back in. All right. Let's take a look over here at copper. Look, this morning regaining the $3 level. Also interesting and of note over here that last week over here, it held this strong support. So this is really strong support you got over down here at $2.90. Below that would be a big warning sign. And it's kind of interesting that right now that the bullish nature in palladium, in copper, all remain intact while gold and silver are lagging now. Interesting that they take turns. There's a flow between the gold and silver and the rest. You have to just be aware of that. Just want to just take a quick view down over here. This after breaking down and look, okay, by the way, do you see this line over here, this channel over here? If you were to clone that, do you see over here that you have a touch here and a touch here? Okay, I'm not going to add that in right now. I just want you to just be aware of this trend line over here, this channel over here. If you clone that, that touches perfectly with these 1, 2, 3 touches over there. This is what's important over here. It is come ahead and it has held over here. It's trading above this support over here. There's not much else to say. This looks like a good place actually to be looking to lead into platinum because it's in this bull channel over here, this bull flag, this bullish channel, and off the support of it, that's the place that you want to look into buy. So that looks good over there. Let me just get a quick look at palladium again. All three of them, I have to say, look pretty good to me and a lot better than gold and silver at this point. Just making an observations over here. September is usually a weak month for gold as demand drops significantly. It's normal to pause. Yeah, I still think it's in a bull market fundamentally, for sure. All right, let's keep a look over here. We got Tesla, by the way. Let's take a look at Tesla before we work our way up, only because it's right here in front of me. I want to see what's going on over here. And all right, so by the way, on Tesla, this is just keep it simple, Tesla right now, right? Observation, this trend line over here has held, okay? This trend line over here, I just want to highlight it for you. It's a breakout above that trend line over here that I would say that it looks like a good situation to begin buying Tesla again. Now I'm looking as we come into this over here for a rejection. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Would I sell Tesla on the rejection? I have no need to sell Tesla, but if you know, for trading it on a swing trader's perspective, again, we were looking at the consolidation within this area right over here. We did break to the downside. We came into a first area of support, and now we're looking for a rejection of resistance. If you traded below that last week's swing low over there after a rejection, then things could start getting hot and heavy on the downside. A breakout above this trend line over here, that actually sets off a long on Tesla, and we might take us back to the all-time highs on Tesla. All right. Well, it trades very technical though. Tesla trades very, very, very technical. Let's get back up to Bitcoin for sure. That's a good, I like that. I think Tesla is a good asymmetrical bet. I really do. All right. I really think Tesla is a good asymmetrical bet. It either is it goes to zero or, we'll see what happens 20 years from now. All right, let's check it out. Don't judge me, but Rice for a long hold. No judging here. All right, let's check it out over here. What's going on with Bitcoin over here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just to give us that little perspective. I'm actually going to the 3-day really quick, and I'm going to go ahead. Obviously, we know all that last week we held the 10,000. We took back the 10,570 resistance. That was a big deal for Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks super good, super healthy. On chain, everything looks super good, super healthy. I want to see Bitcoin regain this trend line over here. It's coming in right now at about 11,500, right? I'm just waiting. It's a waiting game. Bitcoin, if you've been watching and observing over the past week, when the indices were coming off hard, Bitcoin was not, and or positive on the day. When the dollar was coming on hard, Bitcoin either was not or was positive on the day. Bitcoin is, again, I'm not looking for it to break its correlations for about 5 more months. It's a long time. Towards the end of the first quarter of 2021, nevertheless, you're seeing signs of it. If there was a liquidity crisis, there's no question Bitcoin would come off, as would everything, right? Come down to a correlation of almost 1. I don't see any signs whatsoever of any type of liquidity crisis. The repo market looks perfect. The swamp lines have been paid back, are being paid back about 95% to the Fed from the other central banks. There's zero signs of any dollar liquidity crisis right now. All right, let's see what else is going on. So Bitcoin just looks good. Nothing else to say over there. So this is a very important level on Ethereum. It's the $360 level. Now, we've also had, since we've broken out of the bull market, the 360 level on Ethereum, we've had 2-3 breakdowns of that level, which is just interesting. And each time over here, the $324 level has held. All right, just observations. So as we're breaking here above the 360 level, it looks really good. Once we clear now the 390 level, that's when I would say Ethereum is really going to be picking up again, and it's going to be taking a quick look at 500. I say a quick look at 500. Once we clear 390, at that point, it looks like Ethereum will be running again. Still got, it's just kind of like resistance, support, halfway 360 support and level, but it's just hanging out there. All right. By the way, what are we in now? June, July, August, September, October, November. It's from my research. Again, I always said 6 months after the Bitcoin halving is when you see alt season begin. That's still 2 months away. Historically, though, October and November are the 2 best months for Bitcoin's performance. The 2 best months is October and November. They're coming up on deck, and there's no question a rising tide lifts all boats. So I would not be surprised to see alt season pick up quicker. That all looks good over there. Let me check back in now. We have the equity markets opening right now. I see the Nasdaq here is basically just a touch off its highs, but everyone so far is holding their gains. We're going to watch what happens, and also the DXY is just a touch off its low. All right, we'll check back in about 15-20 minutes over here. I want to see what's going on the US dollar. On the US dollar, on the Euro US dollar. All right. So, by the way, just a quick heads up, we're here live streaming over in Cancun, over right by the beach, doing our best to make sure that everyone at this difficult point has a good feel for the market, has that clarity. If you're here this morning, Reggie, man, appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that like button, get me going over here. I wanna feel, starting off on my back foot here this morning, but I want to get going on the right side, make sure that the rest of this week is just on point as always. All right, dollar. Let's take a look over here. Euro US dollar, by the way. So this blue line over here is the all important trend line, the breakout to the upside. Thank you for showing that love. I appreciate it. That's right, Anthony. Boom. Right? Australia, always representing. Tomorrow we have a Conquering the Markets live training session. It'll be at 10:15 Eastern time, right? Right after our live stream. That's for sure. Also going to be introducing something. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Talk about it tomorrow. All right, let's keep going over here. Euro US dollar, right? So just keep in mind the DXY. Rex, I didn't catch up with what you're talking about. I'm focusing right now on the analysis. We'll get back to that later. Yeah, by the way, we'll look at the pound next. The pound is the strongest currency today. That's coming off of the back of the UK saying that, look, they still think that it's possible they'll be able to leave with some type of deal, right? Last week we saw the EU signal that they really want a deal. And then today you're seeing the UK, two things. They said that, first of all, that there's still a possibility. It looks like they're giving a deadline of sometime around the middle of October, but it looks like there could be a deal, or at least that, there's still significant separation on a lot of issues, but they're working for it. And then the also thing that the central bank also said that, like, look, we're not doing negative interest rates anytime soon. What does that mean, by the way? That means eventually they're going negative. Eventually interest rates on the pound are going negative. They're just not doing it anytime soon. Both of those things have sent up the pound. We'll look at the pound next for sure. I saw that comment though, that now it's no, gold is, so silver, by the way, leading on the downside, now leaning on the upside, up 2%. Gold is not even up 1%. Precious metals still have a lot of work to do here. All right. Let's keep going over here, looking here at the Euro US dollar, and I have the DXY in mind, right, as it's coming back down towards 94. 94 is a pretty big level on the DXY, and the reason I bring that up over here, not only 94, I pointed out that trend line. I'm going to extend it right now. So it's that area over here. Now keep that in your mind right now as I go back right now and I look back at the Euro US dollar, because I want to show you the important resistance that we're looking at and we need to trade above in order to feel good about it. Because right now we're looking actually for further pressure here if 94 in the DXY holds, right, just below it. But you see this strong resistance right over here? This was the strong resistance that once it broke, that's it. This is what we need to reclaim, okay, in order for the Euro US dollar to be looking better. Now, also it would be quite nice if you get a test of that and then we back off. And if this holds over here on the way up, that could also be a time to enter on the US dollar. We're not near that right now. So we're in the neutral zone. We got a very strongly bearish tint to it as the DXY as the dollar has broken out into this counter trend rally. Nevertheless, you got a retest coming up, a possible retest coming up. By the way, you could also, the last swing low over here, start trading below it, and then you could pick up on a momentum trade for sure. So again, bringing us back to Greg, and by the way, I applaud Greg, right? Greg, I haven't seen yet your recap from last week. We'll get a chance in the next day or two to be looking all over the weekly recaps from the Conquering the Markets traders. But going into last week was doing very good, 3 months in a row, up 4%, and I like that awareness. We talked about that in the last training session. Listen, a lot of traders come Monday, Asia even opening on Monday, and they're already knocking off trades. You should really be looking for observation. You should be looking into Tuesday session, and then really use Tuesday morning session as a really setting up see what setups are available, and then looking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday overnight in London. If you find that you take too many trades at the beginning of the week, the market is usually the most volatile at the beginning of the week. It's got to reprice everything that happened over the weekend, and then you have the Monday morning New York when they get into work. All right, so let's take a look at also the Australian dollar, US dollar. I want to see what's going on over there. How many people we got in here this morning, by the way? I just want to give you guys all a big shout out and thumbs up over here. 1,800 people. So big thumbs up to all you. Thanks for being here, spending this time with me. Let's keep going on the FX before we even look at anything else. Let's take a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar. The reason I want to see that is that because that is the risk on, risk off pair. All right, so I'm zooming out over here a little bit. I want to zoom out here a little bit. So this is an area over here. Again, this doesn't look so good. It doesn't look so good, but that looks tasty. That pullback into that support over there, that looks tasty. Just neutral. That's all I see over here is this neutral. Wait for further clarity. I think breaking below that, I think I would be ready to start attacking to the downside. I think any move up into this area, this trend line over here, this horizontal resistance over there, I'd be looking to short that. I'd be looking to short up there. For this to look good again, it's really going to have to break, in my opinion, it's going to have to break above this area over here, coming in right now at 0.724. So just neutral right now. Just wait for further observation, further clarity. I want to check out before we look at the pound, the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Again, risk on, risk off pair. This is also just as neutral as the Australian dollar, US dollar. It's actually the same thing I just pointed out. Coming into here, I'd be looking to take a long off this. This is trend line, by the way, going back, I think, I'm not looking at it right now, but I think a year and a half. It could be longer. I'll look at it later if we get close to it. And that support over there. Trading below that, I will be looking for further momentum to the downside, right? Not yet. We're in no man's land, resistance, support. I'll be looking to short this over here, though. Any resumption up over here into this area, I'll be looking to short that horizontal resistance and that trend line resistance. Clear above that, I'll be looking at the long side, 75.54. That's the line in the sand. Jamie, all right, brother. Thanks for being here. Matt, we just looked at Tesla. You can pull back a little bit on the live stream until you see Tesla come across on the middle of the screen and go ahead and watch that and then join us. Let's take a look at the pound US dollar. Pound's up 1% today. Pound is the strongest currency over there. Trading less, but also reducing your chart watching time. Joe, by the way, this is a great comment. I want to build off that. Joe is saying that it's important to be trading less. Yes, one of the biggest obstacles new traders face is trading way too much. People can't understand why I have the patience I have. That's simply because of one reason. I want to make money. If you can't be patient in trading, there's no way you're going to be successful, right? And that's coming from someone again who spent his first 3 years trading between 5 and 7 trades a day on the E-minis. Right? But of course, it also reduces your chart watching time. I do my analysis. By the way, I think the more time you spent doing your analyzing is one of the biggest edge you could give yourself. But anytime I enter a trade, and I always know where my stop loss is as I enter that trade, I know where I'm wrong and I'm getting out. And my risk per trade is determined by how far away my stop loss is, right? But at the same time, I never watch the market as I enter the trade. Once I enter the trade, my screens are off. There's no reason for now me to be watching the market. I'm not exiting that trade before my stop loss is hit or before I take profit and adjust my stop loss. A lot of traders, they do all their analysis or lack of it, enter a trade, and then price fluctuates a tiny bit and they're exiting that trade. That's counterproductive. It doesn't work for you. As you enter the trade, you already did your analysis. There's no reason to be watching the ticks. Let me go ahead and clean that up. Doctor, thanks for being here. All right. Thank you, Kips. Appreciate that, brother. All right. Just kind of clean this up. Keep going over here. And then, what does that say out? Can I get this to change in? Hello? Could you hear me? Could someone let me know if they hear me in the comments? Test, 1, 2, test, 1, 2. Test, 1, 2, test, 1, 2. Test. All right, there we go. Did I get rid of the echo? I think I got rid of the echo. I don't hear the echo on my part anymore, at least. That's nice. Keep going over here. Boom. All right, Jesse, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. All right, so pound. Pound up, the strongest currency of the day, up 1%. Again, we talked about the reasons for that. I'm looking over here at the chart. This is what I want to where I want to get my edge from by following the price action alone. And we're kind of in no man's land. I see that, but nevertheless, there is still other things for us to play with over here. I'm following this trend line over here. Hold on one second. Trying to get a good read. I don't see it. I'm going to only focus off one thing, this resistance line over here. Actually, a move into that resistance, that looks like it sets up a possible shorting opportunity. Okay, we're in no man's land right now. Nothing else to say about that except that we're in no man's land. Here's support down over here. We'll change it now that we've traded above it. Is that a big level? I think we need to move that down just a few pips. All right, I'm going to move this down right here. And the reason I did that is you can see the top of this resistance from that little bit of consolidation over here, and that also coincide with this area which is a support. It just takes out the wicks over here and focuses in on the body. It's a better level. Resistance, support, no man's land. I think that you could play both sides of the pound if you come back into this area of support and resume off of it. There's a good trade over here to the upside. Same thing over here. As long as you're below that resistance, you could look to sell that over there. That's what I see over there. I don't think so. Bitcoin, I don't. Let's take a look at Bitcoin over there. Oh, I thought you said 570. Let's check it out over here. Let's take a look really quick over there. By the way, Nasdaq off its high. Let's take a look at the markets. We'll come back to Bitcoin in 1 second. I want to see what's going on here on the Nasdaq. We've talked about. All right, hold on 1 second. Nasdaq actually coming down and testing this area of support now this morning. That was resistance. I'm going to turn it to support. It's the close on the daily that matters over here. If you would come down to like a 15, 30-minute time frame over here, I'm not trading the indices on that type of time frame. If you were, though, on the 15 or 30-minute time frame over here, a retest of that broken resistance and then confirming it as support brings in an intraday trade to the upside. What about the S&P 500? Let me check this morning. The numbers are looking big over here. That's good. Same thing with the S&P 500, right? Coming into this area, this was resistance this morning. If both these hold here on the S&P 500 and on the Nasdaq, these areas that we've come into, then we're going to have what is a trend day. Trend day markets are moving one way all day. Otherwise, both of these could definitely be faded. And we talked about this morning. Last week we saw a few different times that the indices were green, trading at resistance as they are towards this morning, and then fade in this morning. So we'll keep watching. We'll keep watching over there. Dollar's still under pressure a little bit. Bitcoin, do I think it'll come down and test 10,750? I have okay. So by the way, good. That's a good look at that level right over there, because that's now local support. It's not a big level, but you could see why price consolidated right around there. That was support, and then over here it was resistance. So is it possible that we get another look at 10,750? And if you did, and if it held and resumed off, is that a good level to buy? Yeah, there's no way of knowing if we're going to come back down and test that, right? But if it holds and you resume off that local support, that's a good place to look for an entry. But it's impossible to predict the future, that's for sure, right? All you could do is manage your risk around levels. So I see with clarity the 10,750 local support. When I say local, that's just light, right? The big number over here is 10,570. Yeah, we're trading. It was 11K next. I'm hoping that this week we break out this trend line over here. We'll see what happens. What else are we looking at here this morning? The dollar coming towards the lows of its day, by the way. We saw over here the Nasdaq and we saw the S&P trading. I'm looking at them on a I never do this, or I haven't actually in a long time. But I'm going to come back down to a smaller level over here. This is the 3-minute time frame. No way. The 15-minute, let's look at it. All right. So you can see over here on the 15-minute, just to take an intraday peek, because it's the same exact thing. You're trading price off of support and resistance with the help of trend lines and trap patterns. Doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at. Of course, the larger the time frame, the easier you're going to have, the easier time you're going to have. But look over here. You can see this area over here, this blue line over here, 11,280, and that trend line I have here up. We're coming back down and testing it. If this support holds and we resume off of it, good chance that we not only test but take out the high of the day. If it fails over here, then we're looking down over here, all the way back down to 11,180. All right. What about on the S&P? I want to see what that looks like as well for me. Same exact thing over here. This was resistance, broke the resistance, retesting it now. Okay. If this holds, obviously, you're just a small stone throws away from the daily high over here. But at the same time, if this fails over here, right, we could have a bigger pull down towards the 33.10 area. So just watching what's going on over there, as we've seen so many fades last week on the indices at this time of day. Let me catch over here with a couple of comments. Bitcoin stop loss, right? If you're trading with margin, you better have a stop loss, that's for sure. But if you're obviously buying and hodling Bitcoin, right? Again, we saw 3,800 earlier this year in March on Bitcoin. 63% of people right now holding Bitcoin didn't sell there. Imagine that. 63% of people that were holding Bitcoin for over a year did not sell then. So at what point do you think they're going to sell? Markets make a lot of sense. I mean, bull markets climb what? Walls of worry. By the way, it remains the same. Look at the size of the Fed's balance sheet. The markets have, in my opinion, every reason to be bullish. We're watching, and we're getting close to a point over here, though, where, and we saw it last week, and we were looking then as that was happening to trade on the downside. I always said if we get any big technical breakdowns, we'll be there to attack on the downside. Last week was definitely both sides. We were ready to trade the downside and also on the upside. And over here, once we clean above, if we clear above this channel resistance over here, it's only the upside at that point. We won't be looking for any sell-side trades whatsoever. What about on the S&P? It's that prime trend line over there. So the S&P still got some work to do. Right? It's got a lot of work to do, but if it gets above, and by the way, that's a wedge breakout. You guys also over the weekend, when I pointed out that wedge that I was watching over there, a bullish pattern, we've broken out, but we have to clear above this trend line over here, that bright prime trend line. At that point, it's only long side on the equity markets as well. Now, of course, anyone who's following the markets even remotely understands the enormous risk events we have coming up over the next 5 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks. Who knows whether or not we have a clear winner? Well, I think there'll be a clear winner election night, but whether or not we have a smooth transition of power or not, that's an enormous wild card. That's probably out of 2020, and we're talking about lockdowns, global lockdowns, a pandemic. But the biggest wild card, I think, of the whole year would not be a smooth transition in the United States of America, which has never happened before. If that were to happen, and what are the odds of that happening? I would say that pretty significant. So John, is this bullish or another dead cat bounce? I mean, you said another dead cat bounce. We haven't had a dead cat bounce yet, right? So right now on the indexes over here, and just to give everyone the clarity that I could offer. Hold on one second. No way. There's no way I'm looking at a short here. So what I'm seeing over here on the S&P 500, this wedge breakout over here, it's strong, right? Now you're coming up into resistance right here this morning, and we're talking about that. So the only play is right now whether or not after the breakout is looking for a retest and resumption, right? In order to be looking on the sell side again, we're gonna have to lose some major levels, because this is a wedge breakout over here. You don't short a wedge breakout, a descending wedge breakout. That's going completely against the chart pattern and price. Doesn't make any sense, right? So maybe we break above further and then get a retest and a resumption. Probably not, right? If we hold this resistance we're at now and resume off of it, is that a buy into the resistance? I would not do that. I would not buy right into the resistance over there. I'd rather give it more time and more clarity, although I think that it could break that resistance. I don't need to be in the trade. If we come down into this trend line over here and hold over there and resume off of it, that's a buy entry right there. So right now, as we said in the beginning of the session, it's just stand aside and watch, right? But there's no way that we're looking at the short side over here. You don't try to pick tops, and when the indices are trading up, 1.5%, there's no to even think about trying to fade them. That's a losing man's game. Yeah, of course, there are plenty of sessions when you have the equity markets trading up over 1% or 2% and they close red on the day, but you don't try to pick those tops. Never. You have the Nasdaq into resistance over here, right? Are you looking to buy it? No. But if we get a pullback, right, whether it's into that trend line right over here or it's into this support over here, a resumption off, do you look to buy? Yeah, for sure. When do you look to sell again? Well, we don't look to sell unless we break back down out of this channel over here and back below that horizontal resistance in those two areas over there. So, we're not even close to looking to sell the Nasdaq. Do you sell off the top of this resistance over here? I wouldn't while I'm trading above this prime trend line over here. There's no way. We've regained the prime trend line on the Nasdaq, right? Now, I would be happiest getting a breakout above that channel over here and then looking to trade that, because over here, the skies are clear. This is a nice area, right? I'd be happy trading up there on the long side. Still got a little bit of this channel resistance above our head over there. So just stand aside, wait, then attack. All right, let's check out what's going on here with the DXY. Is at the highest since we came to work this morning over here, but just a little bit off its lows, right? Gold is it was trading up almost a percent, now only up 0.5%. And again, listen, you cannot. I'm so bullish the precious metals, it's ridiculous. But right now, technically, they've lost their bullish structure. There's nothing wrong with me just taking that posture of waiting until they go ahead and they've repaired their damage, and then that's when I look to reestablish positions and looking for that forward momentum. A lot of people I found out over the last week are very emotional about their investments, and that only leads to one thing. That only leads to just not seeing things clearly and further destruction, right? I try to look at everything as balanced as I can, and just by the way, I think maybe I should back off reading a little bit of the YouTube comments and just focus on my own analysis, But by the way, so this is why I'm saying that is because we looked at this morning. We had a very good look at gold and silver, right? And we see that we have broken down over here. We're coming into resistance over here. We got a lot of work to do in order for that to look good again. Shaker, when it says, am I bullish on metals? No. Hold on. I want everyone to be clear. I want you to be clear. I'm saying technically the metals do not look bullish right now at all. I'm neutral as far as swing trading. Neutral means I'm not looking to short because fundamentally they're in bull markets, but I don't believe they look healthy right now at all. Fundamentally, I'm super bullish on the metals. Super bullish. When it comes to equity markets over here, last week we were looking at trading both sides. We've had some big technical breakdowns over there. So, and we're not out of the woods yet. Again, if you need to get a look at the equities, go ahead and zoom back to the beginning. Someone was saying yesterday over the weekend on Twitter, like, oh, we broke this trend line, we're going back and we're testing the March lows. That's nonsensical. Of course, there's a possibility we could test the March lows, but it's impossible to tell. All we could do is look from day to day, week to week, and then we could stay on the right side of the market and we can make a good living when setups are available. But I cannot tell you whether or not we trade from here down to 2,300 or 4,100 on the S&P 500. I've absolutely no idea, right? Now, so we'll see. And also, we have a huge election coming up. If everyone remembers what happens in 2016, by the way, when Hillary Clinton looked like she was leading, the markets were selling off, right? And then when it turned out that night that it looked like Donald Trump was going to win, the markets rallied enormously. So who knows what's going to happen this election night? I would think it's probably something similar. And again, that's a big unknown. Well, we'll have to see what happens, almost 5 weeks from now. All right, where are we? Let me take a step back. Let me see what's going on with the US dollar, Japanese yen over here. Markets have been open a half hour. All right. US dollar, Japanese yen, interesting. Why do I say that's interesting? Because this is and I want to just right here get a look. We see the Japanese yen pairs. The pound we know is the strongest of the day. It's way up. The euro, okay, that's trading better than the yen. Swiss franc, Japanese yen is trading up on the day. So I'm seeing clear weakness on the Japanese yen across the board. What about on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen? That's trading up 0.5%. Interesting that the dollar is weak but stronger than the yen. Just making observations so I could get a feel, right? This trend line over here to the upside and also coincided with 106.15, right? Until we break above that, I would not think of going long on the Japanese yen. By the way, another observation over here, when we took out that low and just wicked above it, right? What does that do? That gets a lot of people caught on the wrong side of the trade. For us and for anyone trading, that was take a small piece of profit, move a stop loss to break even, right? So where does that leave us? Kind of in no man's land, but I think that soon, right? When I say soon, within a few weeks, 3 to 5 weeks or sooner, we could see actually a big breakout on the US dollar, Japanese yen. It could go either way. We'll keep watching it. I don't see anything right now. Pound, Japanese yen. Pound Japanese yen, very clearly, by the way, you could see the move into resistance over here. A resumption off of this, by the way, a resumption off of this during London overnight, that actually brings up a nice possible opportunity over here on the pound Japanese yen. Let me zoom out a little bit just to get a clearer look over here. Move that over. Yeah, definitely. Pound Japanese yen peeking up into some resistance over here. A resumption off there sets up a sell. Audio's good now. That's good. I'm glad I got rid of that echo. Australian dollar, US dollar, we looked at that earlier in the session too. That's just neutral right now. Completely neutral. If we get a retest into this trend line over here and this horizontal resistance, a rejection of that would set up a short beautifully, right? But right now, there's nothing going on over here on the Australian dollar, US dollar. Again, I think it's a really good session just to observe and stand aside. Pound Australian dollar, let me check it out. That's right. There it is. This sums it up. So before I get into the pound Australian dollar, let me go ahead and highlight this comment over here, right? No interesting setups today, in my opinion, right? Greg pointed that out at the very beginning. Thanks, guys. See you all tomorrow. Most no man's land. And this is such a strong perspective, a strong outlook, and a strong insight, because it's the people who force themselves into trades that wind up taking losses more often than not, right? But by waiting for the clarity, by waiting for the setup, and it's not here on Monday morning right now, you're setting yourself up for success. It's a good comment. Sorry, just trying to see what Rex is talking about. All right, let's go. We want to see the pound Australian dollar. Let's take a look at it really quick. Um, that's right. There you go. I like knowing that what I'm saying is falling on open ears, willing to learn, understand from their own mistakes, and see it. It's important. This is coming up into some big resistance over here. Could everyone see it over here? Look, I just look at all this whole area of resistance. You got a lot of work to do over here on the pound Australian dollar to clear above that resistance. And if you do, then it could fly to the upside. But right now, you should be looking to sell resistance. This is in a downtrend. If I were to go ahead and add those, let me see if I could add that for you really quick. I prefer working off my desktop. Let's go ahead and we'll put this area in right over there. And it's not the only one. You still got another touch of resistance right above there. I'm not going to add it in until we break above. So pound Australian dollar, looking to sell resistance in a downtrend, pulled back into resistance right now. Let's take a look at Link, actually. I want to take a look at Link. Tom, how much did you lose before you were able to get serious about discipline? I finally felt enough pain to be very disciplined. So, I mean, Tom, during the, I was able a couple of times early on in my career to put together a significant amount of money, which I lost almost just as quick. First of all, when you're young, when you're in your 20s, and you don't really have a perspective of time, it's difficult because if things come easy, you just really think that it's just the way it is. Putting up massive returns, you just whatever. So I think the lesson for me was not learning so much how to make money, but learning how to keep it. And again, also during the crisis, 2007, 2008, there was an extraordinary amount of money to be made, except it was later on realizing what that was and holding on to it. Linked, let's take a look over here. Thank you, Joseph. Tomorrow's going to be a big day, Joseph, because we have the trading session right after. But as far as just while we're on that topic, when you talk about discipline in the markets, and you hear a lot of people say that I have no discipline, you hear a lot of people on the internet talking about that you need discipline. For me, that all comes down to having a working strategy. The whole reason that traders think that they don't have discipline is simply because they don't have any type of strategy in place. Now, a strategy is not when you buy or sell something, right? A strategy is, first of all, is built around risk management. It's built around trade management, right? Entries are important, and entries are something that can easily be worked on and easily improved, but it's not a heart of a strategy whatsoever. When you have a strategy that you found is making money, I assure you that you will have no lack of discipline whatsoever. I am completely certain that when it comes to lack of discipline by traders in the markets, it's simply because they do not have a strategy that works. If you have a strategy that works and you know what it takes to make money, you will have no problem at any time whatsoever sticking to that strategy, ever. All right, here's the link. Let's take a look over here. I'm trying to get a good feel for that over here. Thanks, Tom. All right, link over here. You can see this trend line over here, this outer trend line of resistance, by the way. Once we break above there, I think link, and I said that last week, is going to be off to the races, right? So you can see over there, I'm just going to give it a little bit of precision right now. And I'm focusing right over on those touches right over there as I do that. the top of the body right there, which also touched, I guess, right there on the peak. A break above there that could send Link off. You can see there's also, if I move my mouse over there, you can see that horizontal resistance at the same area over there. So I don't need to go ahead and add that in because it's touching right here on the breakout over there. You can see what happened as we broke the first trend line over here, that we came back in and did what? Retest, resumption off. For anyone who is swing trading over the weekend, that's a good entry, right? And this was the best entry. This was the best entry. But a breakout over here, that sets up further positioning into Link, and that could set up a nice move. Follow through of last week. We saw Link last week put up a 30% return on Wednesday, and then another 10% on Thursday. That's what that's what altcoins do, and that's just a taste of what's coming. Rex, brother, I think you're in the wrong. I think you're in the wrong chat, brother. Right? Every time I look over at the chat, I see Rex talking about some dude, right? So Rex, I think you're in the wrong chat. You could, peace, brother. All right, what else we got going over here? I don't know who Rex or Adam is. All I see was what's going on over there. All right, let's check out a quick look over here. S&P 500. I don't care. I don't care what you think you're doing or what, Rex. That's your heads up. There you go. I think Rex is Alessandro or Alessandro. I think that's who Rex is. Over here, I just want to take a quick look now on the S&P 500. I want to take a look at the Nasdaq and at the DXY over here. DXY is at the top of it's trading on off its lows in the day, but since we've came in, it's trading at the highest point of its session over here. S&P 500 still up 1.5 on the day. All right. Again, you guys just totally thumped my rhythm over here. S&P. See, Rex, don't do that, man. What are you doing? My goodness, fan club over here. Oh boy. Let me try to get back a read over here, or maybe not. Let me just stand aside then. Danson, I'm going to tell you just to get the best read over here, pull back into the very beginning of the live stream. The very beginning of the live stream until you see the S&P 500. Watch the S&P 500, watch the NASDAQ. It's about 7 minutes of analysis, and it's going to give you a very clear and serious and good read of what's going on. We'll start every session off with that. That's what you want to look at over there, and then you can get in there. I still have positions in Link, and I have positions in Ethereum. The only two altcoins, I said again, as Bitcoin trades around 18,000, I'll be on 16, 17, 18,000. I'll let you all know when I'll be exiting those positions, and not because I don't think that they're going to continue. I think that Link during this alt season is going to be one of the leaders by a large margin. Nevertheless, I prefer simply to be positioned into Bitcoin. Do I think that the S&P getting rejected at the top of the trend line you drew and the resistance of 3304? No, this morning as we came in, again, you could just look at the analysis that we said. We said, watch out for the S&P to pull back over here right now, as we've seen in New York. But it's still entirely very bullish. Actually, a pullback is a beautiful thing. After breaking out of this descending wedge over here, we're looking for a pullback. We're looking for a retest into this area of support over here and a resumption off. Now that might come sooner. This resistance I have here marked over here, that might hold. You might resume off there. I wouldn't take that signal over there by any means, because you have that prime resistance right over that prime trend line resistance right in front of your face. So I'd rather take it above that prime trend line later in the week, or take it down below into this hope trend line down over here. But just stand aside right now. Just stand aside. Yeah, me too. Thank you for that. We're going to cut this session short over here. Well, I want to check a couple of these questions. What's your view on high yielding debt? No, I don't have an opinion over there. Never. I only use, I mean, I use my true trend. That's for sure. The true trend. And by the way, we'll talk about tomorrow in the training session. But the MACD or the RSI, I don't use them at all. I follow price simply off of support and resistance. I'm following price. All those other indicators are lagging, right? I don't use them. They don't add to my analysis whatsoever. I mean, he's positioned so that if as crypto goes bullish on this cycle, he's going to do well. But I don't, it's on the Canadian, Galaxy Digital's on the Canadian Stock Exchange, if anyone's interested. I think you could do better on your own. Thank you, Strawberry Jam. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. We're going to go like that into tomorrow. Rex, man, you threw me way off. Thanks, Will. Yeah, Miguel, tomorrow's training session, I'm going to be bringing up the true trend, and we're going to focus in on a way, because there's a lot of traders showing great success, and then there's still some of those that are still struggling, even just below break even or better. So I want to focus all my energy this month in getting them to break even or better and towards consistently profitable. Healthy. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Let's take a look. The trust not even low. There we go. Josh. Thank you, brother. Thank you all for being here this morning. Oh yeah, we covered that in the training in last week's training session. No, 3 weeks ago. It's on the Conquering the Markets recommended playlist. We talked all about the best places to place your stop losses. Thanks, John. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. It's in a downtrending channel over here. Watch the resistance over there. Don't look to go long until you get back above this horizontal resistance right over there. Listen, fam, thanks for being here today. Thanks for everyone. I'm glad we got that echo situation figured out. Tomorrow will be a little bit smoother. This afternoon, see what's going on. We'll see whether or not the indices are able to hold on to these gains or not. I'm seeing the S&P climbing back up. Nas leading now, interesting. And the DXY now back towards the lows of its day. We'll check it all later. Have a great day, everyone. And I'll talk to you soon.